Good day, children. Today I am going to revise you with the chapter Federalism. This chapter is just a reflection of a form of power sharing, that is vertical form of power sharing. So next, in detail, what is this vertical form of power sharing? Let us understand. What is federalism? Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between the central authority and various constituent units of the country. Here, usually a federation has two levels of governments. One is the government for the entire country, that is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. Other governments at the levels of provinces or states that look after the respective states. Now let us learn important features of federalism. There will be two or more levels of governments, and different tiers of governments will rule over the same citizens. The respective governments, different tier or different levels of the governments, have their own jurisdiction, and if at all any changes we want to make in the constitution, central government all alone cannot change any anything. It cannot make any changes. And the institution judiciary has been given the authority to interpret the constitution. Sources of revenue have been specified to each levels of the government. They can make use of their revenue resources, whatever is assigned to them. And there are dual objectives. Two objectives are there to have federalism, to safeguard and promote unity of the country and to accommodate regional diversity. We have a different way of balancing in power between the central and the state governments. In this way, we divide the countries into two forms. One form of balancing the power is coming together federation. The other way of balancing the power is holding together federation. In coming together federations, independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity. USA, Switzerland, and Australia. These are the examples of such a coming together federation. In this category of federations, all constituent states usually have equal power and are strong versus the federal government, which means they are equally strong compared to the state central government. Central government and the state government both are equally strong, and in holding together federations, a large country divides the power between central government and the state governments. A large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. India, Spain, and Belgium are the examples of such like this. In this category, the central government tends to be more powerful than the states. Very often, constituent units will have a federation have unequal powers. Some units are given with a special powers. What makes India a federal country? The constitution clearly provides a legislative power to each and every level of the government, and then those powers are given in three important lists: unit list, union list, state list, and concurrent list. These are the important three lists in which the subjects are divided into central government and the state governments separately. And then what are these residuary powers? The subjects which are not listed in these three above said lists are called as residuary powers, residuary subjects, which are taken over by central government. Central government will take the decisions on those residuary powers. India is called as a holding together federation. India has three levels and four tiers of government we know very well. Central level to Panchayat Raj. Source of revenue are well defined in India. No clashes financially to the different levels of the governments. Jurisdiction also is clearly defined, so there will be no problem for each and every level of the government to rule over what is the scope of their ruling. They know very well. Indian judiciary has the power to interpret the constitution, and no other institution can challenge that interpretation. Federal objectives are being achieved here, that is to safeguard and promote the constitution, to promote the integrity of the country, to promote the dignity of the people, everything. They have the country India has achieved. And fundamental provisions of our constitution cannot be changed unilaterally by our central government. It has to take the consent from state governments as well. How is federalism practiced in India? Federalism is practiced in India in the following way. Constitutional provisions are necessary for the success of federalism. Those provisions have been included in Indian constitution. The success of federalism in India can be attributed to the nature of democratic politics in our country. That is, the any political person, any politician, or any other political party, if it all loses in the election, if they lose in the election, then they accept positively that, saying it as a people's verdict which we have to accept. No political party or no politician will take revenge that he has lost this way. Such like this, many other examples we find that in the nature of our democratic politics in the country. India has an arrangement of linguistic states. India has a good language policy. In India, we find center-state relations are well defined, well established. They are intact. So, because of which our federal practice is very good in India. And in India, we find the powers are getting decentralized. India has got decentralized. At first, the powers of central government were taken away and given to state governments. Later, some of the powers from central government and state governments were taken away and given to the local governments. Why this is so? The need for decentralization was recognized in our constitution itself. First thing. Since then, there have been several attempts to decentralize power to the level of villages and towns, so that whatever the locally the problems are available, they get solved locally itself. For each and every small things, one no need to go to chief minister, that is state government, or should go to national government. They have their other works to do there. If they indulge in local issues, then there will be no scope for maintaining maintaining good relations with other countries also. At the state level and at the national level, they have their own roles to be played. That's why decentralization has become inevitable and it is necessity of the day. Here we end the chapter. This is the brief introduction, brief structure about this chapter, federalism. Thank you very much.